A friend showed this picture as evidence that the moon landings were faked. This is a NASA picture, but you can see this shadow is at right angles to all the other shadows, including even like the rock shadow right here. This shadow is at right angles. So he presented this as evidence that the moon landing was faked, and that there was multiple light sources being used in taking this picture, which is interesting because if these two shadows were cast by two different light sources, then they shouldn't be nearly as dark, because the light source creating this shadow would be shining behind that rock, so it would be like each 50% gray. But anyway, so that was the claim. So I investigated, and here's what I found. By way of background, those are called contact probes. Every foot has one, and they evidently hit the ground first and alerted the computer to the fact that it was time to start slowing down real quick. And I guess they were one-time use. They just kind of got bent and broke out of the way. And here's more pictures. There's one from another angle. Here's one still laying down in the dirt. There's more. You can see there's one sticking up there, making it again a shadow at an angle that's not aligned with the other shadows. And here's one laying in the dirt. There's one sticking up. And there's one laying in the dirt. And actually, this looks like it's a different perspective. This may actually be around the same time and the same foot as the main picture in question, because you can see this shadow is different than these other shadows. And the reason is that this probe is pointing mostly directly at the sun, just leaned a little bit to give it a direction, a shadow. And you can actually see where this one also whipped down and, hit the ground pretty hard, but now it's bent up a little bit. Now, I would like to show you with a clay model how it's possible to get these two shadows at right angles to each other. Okay, I now have here a small flat piece of modeling clay with a little blue spaceship, a little blue rock, and two sewing pins. So as you can see, give you some perspective here. Oh, and it's a sunny day too. Here's a straight down view from the top, pretty much at the top. So you can see that this lower pin is slanted and its shadow is at right angles, more or less. I could make it at right angles. There. Oh, a little more. It's at right angles to all the other shadows, including the rock right there, the spaceship, and the other pin. So if, our camera was probably right about here. I don't remember. Anyway, try it out. It's entirely possible to have shadows of straight objects at right angles if the straight objects aren't all pointing in the same direction. You see, I'll show you. I can lean this all different directions. And that's just the way shadows work. See, if I put it upright, then they line up. If I point it mostly at the sun but slant it over, then they can be... Look at that. I mean, now I got them pointing actually away from each other. More than 90 degrees. Okay, now we go back and look at the NASA photo. Yep, see, you can even see that probe there. And then here's the one in question. And that's why the shadow looks so much fatter than the stick, is because of the slanted angle it's at, which we saw on the pin too. There, see how the shadow is a lot fatter than the pin, which is exactly what we saw in the NASA photo because of the angles and everything. So that's why this much longer probe looks short and fat, because of the angle it's slanted at. Hopefully that makes sense to you.